Welcome to the evolution of esports, where you don't just play the game, you code it. The CodeCombat AI League is the first of its kind. Part AI battle simulator, part game engine for learning real Python and JavaScript. Refine and perfect your code in your quest to become a CodeCombat AI League champion. Competitive coding has never been so epic. Join now.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Season 7 recap of the CodeCombat AI League powered by HyperX. The arrival of spring, the Equinox Cup has been ushered in, bringing with it a tantalizing new gameplay experience that marks the transition from the frigid winter to the refreshing bloom of spring. Today, we're excited to showcase some of our favorite matches across the 4 age brackets, highlighting the best and the most impressive plays from this season's competition. And of course, don't forget to stick around for the reveal of this season's winners. The overall champion will be taking home the $1,000 grand prize scholarship. I'm Adam, your host, and joining me we have Nick, CodeCombat CEO, Valentine, the architect behind each AI League arena, Charlotte, the head of curriculum development at CodeCombat, and last but not least, the legendary 2-time AI League champion Valent, better known in the arena as Veneth, who has now joined the CodeCombat team as our game development and game design intern to help us improve the league even further. And that's not all. We'll also be hearing from some of the winners themselves as they share their insights and strategies that led them to victory. So, Nick, what did you think of this season?
Thanks, Adam. This season was amazing. We had over 30,000 players on the Frozen Fortress leaderboard. We had some tremendous competition on the Equinox leaderboard, where it's an evolution of the Frozen Fortress regular season arena. And I got to tell you, I put some code in at the end. I was like, let's try it, give it a shot. I couldn't even break the top 20 this time. The competition was fierce. Would love to dig in and see what the results are in just a bit. Charlotte, why don't you tell us a little bit about the arenas that we're looking at here?
Happy to do so, Nick. Now, Frozen Fortress is a bit of a callback. It's actually an evolution of our very first arena, Blazing Battle, which some of you might have played. So it's a linear tower of defense game, one of our favorites. We found plenty of opportunities to level up the gameplay. You can build defensive towers, which can use targeted or area effect damage to surrounding enemies, or you can build utility towers to level up your game. Farms help you produce extra mana, and barracks help you send extra units to your enemy. Also, don't forget those sweet abilities you can use with your mana. There's Shockwave, which blows back enemies from your base. You can also transport units so that they're on the enemy side. And you can freeze, enrage, or speed up specific enemies to better time your area effects. At the end of the day, it comes down to how you can best manage your towers and mana so you have more health than the enemy at the end of the game. Now, Equinox, Nick, if you want to switch over, is the championship arena, and it's quite similar, but there are bigger bosses to defeat, and it becomes more important to understand the different types of enemies that are going to attack your base. Now, the biggest difference, though, is that you now have champions. These units appear near your tower, and you can control them. There are different types of champions, so you really got to figure out which one's going to be best for your game. When it comes to coding, you're going to want to use conditionals and event handling because it helps a player better understand the types of enemies that are approaching their towers. And these coding concepts can also help you time when to upgrade or change your towers or time your different abilities so that they're the most effective. Let's dig further into the details. Valentine, what was it like developing Frozen Fortress and Equinox?
Thanks. So, as you already mentioned, one of the big differences with our Blazing Battle, which we were inspired and wanted to evolve, it's different types of towers. So now we did not just having damage tower of different types, like area damage, like direct damage, and slowing damage. Now we have things which increase your mana. And there's many tricky hidden mechanics, for example, that shockwave, not just on timing basic, it's based on how much health your enemies, your monsters have. So it's a lot of mathematics behind. So you don't need to know it. We simplified some rules, but if you want to really masterfully use it, you need to know it. So, and that's exactly created serious challenge for us because now we can't not use exactly the same formula for everything because There's like damage, like how much we damage, what's the power of the tower, because like some towers don't have damage, but we increase mana, like which can increase damage or not increase it. Like, so it's madness from balancing point, because like now we don't have some linear formulas, now we have like multi-dimensional vectors, and how to manage like it was nice math for us. And luckily here, as for balancing the arenas this season, we had some serious help from the AI League legend himself, Venus. With his wealth of knowledge and experience in the AI League mechanics, he was instrumental in fine-tuning the gameplay. Let's join him now for a behind-the-scene look at our editing system and some insight of the regular arena balancing. Valant, please.
For the Frozen Fortress arena, we made the Archer Tower into a single target damage focused tower, so we increased the attack cooldown, but we also increased the attack damage to compensate for it. For the farms, we nerfed the farms by giving the base a natural mana regeneration, so that the base doesn't rely too much on the farms to regenerate mana. For the Ice Tower, we increased the Ice Tower attack speed, so it attacks faster, but we also made the slow effect weaker to compensate, so that the Ice Tower's placement doesn't have a big impact on the outcome of the match.
Thank you, Valant. Now, before we jump into the final arena, let's take a quick look at the awesome HyperX prizes on the line today.
Ain't accept and ignore, just kicking down all the doors. Guarantee you, boy, if I ask for it, it's gotta be real big. I gotta make it just for my kids and for their kids' kids. That's wealth years and years. Promise my brother soon as he out and finished his bid, we finna do it bigger than anybody ever did.
The top 3 players in each age division today are winning some awesome HyperX Pro gear. Starting with 3rd place winners, they will receive the Cloud Stinger Cord headset. As for 2nd place, they will be getting the Cloud 2 headset and Cloud earbuds. And finally, 1st place in each age group will receive a Cloud Revolver 7.1 headset, Ally Origins keyboard, and Pulsefire FPS Pro mouse. Lastly, the overall winner of the Equinox Cup will receive a $1,000 scholarship to help them pursue their coding education and support their path to a career in computer science. All right, let's get back into the action and dive into the final arena of this season.
Now, time for Equinox Cup Arena, which is a challenge version of Frozen Fortress like. And as a challenge, we added more complexity layers and more features like which make balance much complicated for us. And as for balancing the finals arena, Valant can give us some more insight about that. Valant?
In the Equinox Cup arena, we differentiate the monsters not only by health, but by speed and by a new thing called slow resistance. So slow resistance is basically how effective slow effects are against this monster. For example, the Ice Tower and the Freeze Spell. We also added some APIs to the monsters to make the user experience better. Things like the slow resistance, the attack damage, the attack range, speed, and its boss, on deciding whether this enemy is a boss or not.
Wow, first and foremost, a huge thank you to our phenomenal game dev team for all the work they put into these arenas. Your hard work and dedication have truly made this season unforgettable. And now, it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for, the top matches of Season 7. Get ready to witness some seat-gripping action as our players battle it out for a chance at the 1st place title. Okay, this 1st place match, we have Mercurum versus Blaster Drag. And it looks like both players seem to pick a similar layout with the AoE towers farther away from the base and more targeted archers closer to the base. Charlotte, do you have any thoughts on this?
Right. Now, the only difference I see here is that Mercury seems to be a little bit more sophisticated in the strategy. They focused more on upgrading those AoE towers. So you can see that those towers are being upgraded with those numbers to the bottom right. And also the other thing I'm noticing is that he's better at using champions to target the enemies with more accuracy. So let's dig into the details. Nick, what do you see in the code?
Well, first up, I always like to just kind of see what the code complexity is. So if we see we've got less than 100 lines of code here on both sides in the 0 to 11 age bracket championship, it's not that difficult. It's mostly about strategy, right? We're talking about some nested if else. We have some while loops. in Mercury M's got some time-based reaction in this while loop. So we're mostly focusing on kind of AoE stuff in the middle and then archers all at the end. So once we get to this point, only these towers getting upgraded. And I gotta imagine that is to be able to take down these bosses. And looks like Mercury M did take down that boss faster because look, these arrow towers are the only thing that are being upgraded at this point. Meanwhile, Blaster Drag did get those arrow towers up, but a little slower and already almost down from taking that much damage from that first boss there. Or the second boss there. And the third boss, oh, no one's gonna be able to stop that. Valentine, what are you seeing in the code?
I am looking at how player using our design, of course. So in the same time, like, it's really cool to see, like, so now players don't use anymore farm a lot as it was in Frozen Fortress. So, but a little disappointed, like, at least one farm maybe, at least one barrack, where is it? Like, so I suppose because it's like first group and I hope to see it more, I think it was kind of like exactly our goal, like to make those mana exploding things more complicated to use, like. And yeah, it's really different view how we use champions, like, and abilities, like. So my suggestion, maybe, I don't know, like, Nick, could you quickly show me code from the blaster back, like, so just quickly I can say. No, I expected maybe we check what towers on the opponent's side. No, maybe we see it in the next match, like.
Yeah, and a lot of it is going to be reacting to the time of the match, and then we're going to react to what monsters are there, and maybe we're going to react to what the opponent's doing if you're getting really advanced. Well, it looks like it is a win for Mercury M, not a scratch on him. Let's take a look at the leaderboards for the 0 to 11 age bracket.
And here we have our first place with Mercurum with a 98.88% win rate. And in second place, Blaster Drag with a 98.2 win rate, both from HyperX. Congratulations. And finishing that up in third place is Tien Tu Niem. Congratulations for the 3 winners in the 0 to 11 age bracket. Nice job.
I competed in the CodeCombat AI League because I like the format of it, and I had been on CodeCombat for almost 2 years. And the CodeCombat AI League is very fun because there's a lot of competition. There's your age brackets, definitely very competitive, as I said. And my strategy consisted of not selling anything, just having one main loop with the towers that I build and some shockwave in it. So.
All right, now let's take a look at the 11 to 14 age bracket. We have P6E31 versus Buddy CC. Oh, already I can see that the utility towers play a bigger role here. You can already see more farms, which lets you accumulate a lot of mana to spend on abilities and more towers. And you see a lot more barracks, which sends more units to the enemy side. Charlotte, what are your thoughts here?
Right, the difference here is that P6E or Liu Jinghen quickly starts swapping those defense towers as the bigger monsters arrive because you're going to need more ammo for that, right? Now, Buddy mostly relied on champions, but he's also used more barracks. You see all those barracks down the line there? That's going to send a lot more enemies to P6E. It's going to make the job harder because there's a lot of enemies coming his way. But to be honest, this is pretty close. I don't know who's going to win this. Adam, what do you think?
You know what, Valentine, I think I'm gonna have to bring you in here. What do you think of this? Oh, and do I see a call out to Shining Lights? Come on, bring it.
Oh, that's interesting one. Yeah, it's exactly was our intention, like, because it rush strategy, like, so many players using like farm dominating strategy, like, and we put a little trick, like, so you can make counteracting, like, if someone using a lot of rush farm rush strategy, something like build a lot of farm, shockwave, like, and there is a trick, like you start using like haste rage in the beginning, and you can do nothing, like, and get a lot of points minus, like. So I suppose Shining Lights exactly uses this strategy a lot against other players with farms. That's why Buddy C made it like counteract to counteract, like, and put this like funny comment, like, so exactly against that, like. So there's a lot of code, like, Nick, what do you think about this complicated code?
Well, I'm just looking here, and it does seem like if we have 700-ish lines over from Buddy CC, who we've seen on the leaderboards quite a lot from the Fantastic Fabulous People family team. And on the blue side, we have a much shorter code here from Liu Jinheng. And Liu Jinheng has, kind of some general reactivity, some nested ifs, that kind of stuff, some functions to compartmentalize the data. We've got some controls on the champion code. We've got some good abstractions on the lists in Python here for figuring out what to build. A lot of depth in this nested list, but I gotta imagine that the code over here from Buddy CC might be a little more tuned. And we do see that. We see this must have been a performance thing, right? So instead of putting the formula to figure out the archer range per tower level, we've kind of coded the actual resulting values. And then you have to do a lot less computation, so you can run more code. I mean, this match almost didn't load even on my machine because of how much code these two are running. But we do see Liu Jinheng taking damage here from that first boss. Wasn't able to stop it as much, and I think that's because we didn't have as much going on for our arrow towers until earlier. Also a little bit ahead, so must have gotten a little bit less slow, a little bit more haste. So here, Buddy CC still untouched. Blue, Liu Jinheng has the monsters are getting a lot closer to the base. I think this might be another win for Fantastic Fabulous People. Let's see what happens. I don't know, what do you guys think?
It's pretty even. I mean, they have the same enemies heading towards them. Buddy, I don't know.
Already not even?
Okay, but the bosses got here at exactly the same time. And that should mean, and look, Blue's got closer, so I'm pretty sure this is gonna go. Blue has a ton of mana. Oh, the shockwaves come in and he bunched them back. Oh, look at that.
Whoa!
He's saved. Liu Jinheng saved up a bunch of mana, pushed a few units back. Now red unit Buddy CC was taken down by this brawler. In addition, they both couldn't push the boss back, but they were able to push back enough of those that oh wow, it's an upset. Liu Jinheng takes it.
It's definitely turning table out. Like so, like just like in last moments, like enough mana, and that's all. Like I love this.
Wow. Look at that.
That was so close. That was so close.
Fantastic match. All right, let us take a look at the leaderboards.
Wow, what an exciting finish to this bracket. We have in first place P6E31 with a 99.75% win rate. Second place is Buddy CC, and in third place, Iggy Master 99. Awesome work. What an exciting bracket. 11 through 14. Nicely done.
I think I know what happened with the losses. I think that somebody has 0 and somebody has 1, and I'm guessing those are both in the highly competitive 14 to 18 age bracket, which we'll be checking out last.
Hello, I'm Harry Lau from Pucheng Middle School, Macau. I like to play CodeCombat games very much. It can sharpen my programming skill in a funny way. I don't like war, so I attempted to peacefully win the Equinox Cup. I didn't build barracks. I didn't hate or rage my friends. I just defense to live longer. That's my plan. Thank you.
Now, let's take a look at the open bracket. Durbination versus SM Low, which happens to be Buddy CC's dad from the Fantastic Fabulous People. I want to give a huge shout out to that entire family because we also have FFMC on this leaderboard. The entire family is there. Amazing. But let's jump in. So, again, you can see that both sides are building lots of farms to build up their mana supply. Charlotte, I'm going to pass it back to you. What are your thoughts?
Right, the key difference is when they start switching out the farms. You see here that Durbination is quicker to build out those towers, whereas SM Low is, you see a barrack on the top, bottom right, bottom left there. Oh wait, Durbination's building out more barracks too. This is a really close call. Valentin, what do you see in the code?
Oh, I would first mention strategy side because Durbination using more classical best strategy, and SMLO he's using something unpredictable. I didn't know even it's possible to survive so long with so many barracks, farms, and it works. it's unusual, like, to rely on champions, barracks. Like, I don't know how it works. Like, as for code, like, so I see distribution. Sorry for that. Using some JavaScript, like clean code, but I cannot like I just like should mention this point about code of SMLO. It's like perfect. It's really great PEP 8 Python code. Like, Nick, what do you think about this code?
Well, SMLO's code is on the left here. I think that's more like we got mathematician variable names going on here. What I'm seeing from Durbination on the right, this is nice. Ooh, I like it. Look at all those functions. Look at that. Yeah, I would code format that and nothing would change. Amazing. We have almost 700 lines here from Durbination in blue. SMLO coming in somewhere around 350 lines. And the strategy that I'm seeing here, let's see when we first take damage, it's that moment when we're switching from farms over here at point A, and we're like, oh, we're getting all the mana, oh, we need a defense. And we switch the archer tower just a second too late. And we actually take one hit, then we built that tower and taking out that ogre. So SMLO coming out and fending them off a little bit longer, which is a little strange because like we do have this like very farm, very barracks heavy thing. And then I noticed like we start building these cannon towers on the left side, which is like, usually you put them over here. And the reason for that is you can AoE a lot of little enemies out of the way when they first come in. And then you're shooting the big enemies that made it through with focused damage towers on those archer towers. I think this is one of those cases where the young players maybe played some tower defenses before, just maybe intuitively know that, and they can make up what they lack in like super powered coding abstraction ability by like strategic knowledge. Like, you don't put your AoE tower here. And I think that might be why SMLO is taking some damage. We don't have the archer that's taking them down. And as we have the final wave of enemies, whatever you're doing over here doesn't matter anymore. You should be getting rid of this and putting some damage towers in. Durbination's got both archer towers like you'd expect. That's some strategic kind of defense right there. I think SMLO's not going to be able to hold them off at this point. Let's take a look at how it ends.
And he has barracks for the last moment. Like, why? Why you need barracks here?
I know. I think he's really obsessed with barracks. You see 3 still.
I think there's a bug because look at this. This tower, all we're building is this one, but every few seconds we're selling it. And then we lose mana and we build it again. So there's some bug in here, and I think that might have been the difference here in the final moments of the match between SMLO and Durbination.
So with a bug, he's still on the like top position. Like, what if like without bug? What it would be?
If only this variable name were a little longer, I'm sure that would have been. I'm just kidding. Let's take a look at the leaderboards for the open bracket.
Okay, taking a look at the leaderboard for our open bracket. In first place, we have Durbination with 4 losses. Now this is this is an interesting point here because in the 11 to 14 bracket, we only had, I think, 2 or 3 losses, and so that one was actually more competitive than our open bracket. And it looks like Buddy CC has surpassed his father with 3 losses to 10. Second place is SMLO with that 98.77% win rate. And then in third place is Dad Jonah D. So congratulations to first, second, and third place of the open bracket. All right, so we are looking at the 14 to 18 bracket right now, and the top 2 players are Shining Lice versus Hydrobolic. Now, to give some context here, Shining Lice has won every season except 2, but we have a new challenger who has come close to the top, and that is Hyperbolic. And I think he's out for an upset. So let's take a look. Looks like the same thing as the last few matches. Lots of farms to build up mana. Oh, and now some barracks to send stronger enemies to the opponent. Charlotte, I'm going to pass it back to you. What are your thoughts?
Totally, it looks very similar. I do see some towers going up now and swapping with Shining Lice, but I really think the difference is going to be found in the code this time. Valentine, what do you see?
I'm wondering, like, so I remember this like BuddyCC comment about like rush strategies, or like maybe there's like if we scroll quickly through the Shine Lights, we can find something obvious about this like crash strategy. Because
Yeah, so here's
what
the
I
Ranger
mentioned, like it's
code, here's
possible
the
to
Mage
use.
code. Like, there's tons of cases in here. Valentine, where do you see the rush in here? Well, let's go to the end where he's got his main loop.
I suppose like Rage, maybe that's one, but it sounds like starting Rage strategy is useful in the beginning of the game, so but we kind of like in the middle of the game, so I'm not sure if we really see like again it's useful at the start of the match, and in the current moment we see already like some towers, like really cannons, so maybe next match, maybe.
It does look like it is typical Shining Light style, where there's no like, hey, let's hard code to rush at this time. It's more like there's a system of influences on the AI, what it's going to do at any time. And so the rush is an emergent behavior that probably comes when the pressure on the enemy is just opportune. So if we have what we've got going on here, we don't have a lot of defensive towers, we might see Shining Light's code decide to throw down some, yeah, look, there it goes. So this one now has some rage, and there's only one defender, right? So I think Hyperbolic has been saving up for these farms. These things getting maybe iced out by the special ability, and Shining Lights have been saving up this mana and is maybe deciding to use it. We've got like a cluster of units right here. What is Hyperbolic gonna do? We see a reactive tower coming up now.
But it's not enough. Why Mage staying on the same place? Like Mage should be already in a base and protected. Like so, where is reaction?
Let's take a look at what Hyperbolic is doing here. So we've got some. We don't have the clever replacement for specials yet. Maybe we don't have the cheese, but this is the top 2 match. So very strong code here. Let's see what we've got. Hour time. I mean, there's a lot of abstraction here, and I've come to expect that from Hyperbolic by this point. A lot of relatively advanced JavaScript going on. This is a JavaScript versus Python match.
Nick, I think I see a comment called out to CodeCombat. What does that say?
The core of every CodeCombat tournament, a carefully tweaked, unreactive, hard-coded strategy.
Okay,
You know, I kind of feel like you might need to react at this moment in time, Hyperbolic. I think Shining Lights has a lot of reaction in here, and I don't know that you're going to be able to get one past them. I mean, it's a little tongue-in-cheek probably because we're seeing a lot of conditionals, we're seeing a lot of stuff like that. But I don't know. Didn't we have a comment earlier with that cheese? I think the cheese emerged and activated when these farms were a little late to go down. And let's see how this plays out from here. Can he stop? Oh, he's got so much mana. Everything's raged. Oh, more rages. Shining Lights has been saving up. Oh, it's over. Shining Lights wins.
That was so fast.
And Mage still in the same position, like no reaction from the Mage. Like so, like somebody destroy your base, and we're like, I would be on the right side.
38.9 seconds for the win. Not even the first Yeti boss into play yet. It's, you know, Shining Lights. I imagine many of the matches went all the way to the end. I don't know if anyone got a hit on him, but just completely dominant performance from Shining Lights. Everything else was like long, but if you got a Ninja Strike ready to go, I mean, that's how the AI does, right? It's faster. Faster than you could think.
We need new achievement, not just like how many losses you have, like how many health points you lost to the like whole games. And my suggestion, like it would be 0, like no hit tournament.
Yeah.
It's so laser focused, like almost like an assassin. He recognized the weakness and then took that opportunity. That is such sophisticated code and game strategy. Amazing.
Yeah. And Shining Lights, Hyperbolic was able to get this arrow tower up, but nothing when, you know, there's enough rage going on. We'll see you later, Blue Mage. It was nice to know you. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the leaderboards for the 14 to 18 bracket and the overall winners of the tournament.
And with that, the Equinox Cup comes to a close with our overall grand prize winner, Shining Lights. Wow. 0 losses, 100% win rate. That is absolutely amazing. He has won 5 out of the 7 seasons that we have done. I mean, we have hired Venice. We may need to invite Shining Lights too to join us, but we'll get to that another time. But can anyone take him down? We invite anyone to join our next upcoming seasons to see who can take down our champion, Shining Light, representing the HyperX team. In second, Hydrobolic, and in third, Just a Luke, also from the HyperX team. Congratulations to everyone.
This AI tournament was kind of like a tower defense game, and I found that to be pretty interesting and unique. For my strategy, I try to maximize using forms, and I do this by trying to find a balance between spending money on defensive towers and forms. Later in the mid-game, I switched my towers into cannons because they do a lot of area damage. At the end game, I would use the freeze and shockwave abilities to keep my enemies control, and also the haste ability to put pressure under my opponent.
All right, let's take a look at the top 10 leaderboard. I can see that 4 out of the top 10 are from Team HyperX. That's amazing. Shout out to the fantastic, fabulous people. I see you have 2 in the top 10. That is amazing. And of course, congratulations again to Shining Lights. Their code this season allowed them to score 788 victories and take the title of overall champion and grand prize winner. If you did not place, don't worry, HyperX has you covered. All AI League players get 20% off from hyperx.com. Just use the code HX CodeCombat at checkout. Again, that's HX CodeCombat. Regional and product limitations apply. Now, let's take a look at Season 8, the Coders Harvest season. From what I hear, we've got some farm-tastic new arenas and gameplay coming your way, but don't just take my word for it. Let's hear more from our very own Valentine. Valentine, can you give us just a sneak peek into what's in store for this exciting new season?
Yes, Adam. And now we have like full farm. You have your farm robot leg and put some farm stuff. Rivers, patches, gardens, wheat. You use some mist to improve your farm field. However, it's a little tricky. We try to make peaceful arena, like where you don't fight directly against your opponent. Almost. Because you still can use like mist for your advantage and little against your opponent. Sometimes you can, maybe not sabotage, but you maybe still a little about that. It's inspired by Carcassonne-like games, so it's a lot about placement, positioning, so you can you again don't need too much about coding stuff and just like try to play with some simple layout. However, if you want some complicated code, you always welcome it, like, and making different layouts, maybe refactor layout on the fly, using again different abilities. I hope we put really high ceiling here and you will enjoy it.
A huge thank you to the entire CodeCombat community and all of our players this season. Thank you to our experts here with us today and to HyperX for all of the support. Feel free to check out all the latest leaderboards and start playing at codecombat.com/league.
Welcome to the evolution of esports, where you don't just play the game, you code it. The CodeCombat AI League is the first of its kind. Part AI battle simulator, part game engine for learning real Python and JavaScript. Refine and perfect your code in your quest to become a CodeCombat AI League champion. Competitive coding has never been so epic. Join now.